Well, good morning and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a pretty grey, overcast, miserable morning here in Cambridge. Now today I want to give you an update on the fence-mounted solar panels because it's been a few months and I've had a lot of questions about how are they performing, specifically in the winter, but also are they actually making me any money? So for those that are new to the channel, a quick overview. Now today we're going to be talking about specifically about the fence mounted system, not the 11 kilowatt system that sits on our roof, runs our house batteries. That's a completely different system. This is a system, a DIY system that I've put together over the last couple of years to see if I can maximize the sunshine, well, at least on days when it's actually quite sunny. So we have 4 panels on this side of the garden. These are all just mounted directly onto the fence panels. They're not secured other than they have a mount which hooks over the fence panel. These 4 are designed to catch the morning and early afternoon sun. And then if we flip around to the other side of the garden, there are a further 2 panels over there sitting behind the hot tub. They're designed to catch the evening sun, again, when there's actually sun up in the sky. Now these systems are plugged into 2 different EcoFlow stream inverters. There is the older PowerStream inverter in which we have 2 of the panels behind us going into the garage, into the PowerStream, and that has a couple of Delta Pro batteries attached to it. And then the other 4 panels are wired into this Stream Ultra system that sits in my office. Now in a moment we're going to head inside and we're going to talk about all the numbers. We're going to talk about how much did they generate, how much did they save us, all of that. But before we do that, I want to quickly show you why fence-mounted panels work in the summer. In fact, they're really good in the summer, but they're not so great in the winter. Now for that, I'm going to use an app on my phone called Sun On Track. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up Sun On Track, and if I hold it up, you should be able to see there, you can see exactly where the sun is right now. So it's kind of up there in the sky. Sun On Track shows you exactly where the sun is in real time. It gives you an augmented reality view. But the great thing about it is it can also show you where the sun will be in the height of the summer. So if I actually look up into the sky up here, you can see it tracks right across the sky. So that helps me position the panels behind me. So these ones here are designed to catch that early morning to mid to late afternoon sun. Then as the sun crosses behind them, the 2 that are on the other side of the garden, they start to generate, and they will generate long into the evening, usually while we're sitting in the hot tub. Anyway, before it rains, let's head inside and let's take a look at all the numbers. So we're back in the office. The rain has just started, so apologies if you can hear it hammering down on the roof. But down underneath the bench here, we have the Stream Ultra system. So we have a Stream Ultra, an AC Pro, and an AC. Confusing naming, I know. EcoFlow, please sort it out. And I should say at this point, although all the equipment here is EcoFlow, this is not a sponsored video. Now in the past, EcoFlow have provided power streams or power stations and the Stream Ultra for review purposes, but this video is not sponsored by them. Now I should say at this point, we've had the Stream Ultra system in place for about 6 months, so I've only got about 6 months worth of data. But the PowerStream, which this is my spare version, this is the 800 watt inverter, is in the garage connected to 2 EcoFlow power stations. Not these particular models, but a couple of Delta Pros, or a Delta Pro and a Delta Pro external battery. Squeaky banana on the floor there for scale. Somebody said to me, you really should add a banana to your video so we know how big things are. Well, there you go. That's the nearest I've got. Squeaky banana. The dogs are going to be upset that I've got their banana. But anyway, moving on. So let's take a look at the Stream Ultra first, because we have the least amount of data for that. As I say, this system has been in place since last summer, and we've used it in a different way to the way we use the PowerStream. The PowerStream system has been all about base load. So with the PowerStream system, we charge it from the grid every single night. We then top it up from solar during the day. In the summer, we top up quite a lot. In the winter, not so much. But we continually feed power into the house at about 500 watts from 5:30 in the morning when the Octopus Intelligent Go tariff finishes, pretty much until the batteries are exhausted at about 5 p.m. at night. Now, by doing that, by buying energy in, storing it in the batteries, and then using it up in the house, we're estimating a saving on the PowerStream system of about £438 a year. Now that comes from a combination of buying energy at seven and a bit pence per kilowatt hour, so 7p per kilowatt hour plus VAT, which you have to pay on the import, and then using that up, so saving us from having to buy that energy from the grid. And that coupled with the solar generation from the fence mounted panels, again, a lot more in the summer than in the winter, I calculate a saving for that system of about £438 per year. Now again, it's not a huge amount for a solar system, and for a large part of the year, it is basically a battery system and we're just storing the panels on the fences. But if you take £438 a year and you divide it by the cost of that system will pay for itself in roughly 8 years. Now again, this is a temporary system. This is not something that you need to install and then leave there if you move house. If you're a renter, these kind of systems are ideal because you can pack it all up in the truck and move it to your new property and you can plug it in again. So although they don't deliver anywhere near the amount of energy that a roof-mounted system would generate, they are completely portable. Now when we go on to the Stream Ultra, I took a slightly different approach with the Stream Ultra. When we installed it in the summer, we were not grid charging these batteries overnight because we were getting more than enough solar from the fence to fill these things up and then export that energy in the evening. When the PowerStream system had run out, we would start exporting from the Stream Ultra, and that would give us baseload for the full day. We wouldn't have to worry about taking power from the main batteries. So that system, in the 5.5 months that we had it installed, we did not start grid charging the batteries until late November. And the only reason we started then is there just wasn't enough solar being generated off the fences to be able to give us what we needed. So in November, we started to grid charge those batteries. So in the 5.5 months that we've had this system, I estimate it has saved us about £108 in energy charges. So that coupled with the Stream Ultra, those 6 panels sitting on the fence and a pile of batteries attached to it has roughly saved us about £600 in energy bills. Now, for most people who've been around the channel to know, we are a heavy energy use house. The reason we have all this solar is because we use a lot of energy. So having a system that can generate £600 worth of savings a year might be enough for an average household. If you don't work from home, there's nobody in during the day, you probably don't use anywhere near as much energy as we do, therefore you may be able to get away with a system like this to, if not completely replace your energy needs, but at least to supplement them. Now what's the plan for 2026 with these systems? Well, the PowerStream system, it has been running now for about 4 years. It has been faultless. I am not going to change a thing. I'm going to leave the 2 500-watt panels that are connected to it, and I'm going to run that system as it is. The Stream system that's sitting under the desk there, I'm not going to increase the capacity of it. I did think about adding another battery, but the Chief Financial Officer reminded me of the promise that I made.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Not to buy any more batteries. That's an ongoing negotiation, by the way. She doesn't watch these videos. But at the moment, that has 4 500-watt panels connected to that system. My plan is to try and make the panels look a little bit better. Now, that's difficult to do when they're honking great big 500-watt panels. But recently, I was in Cambridge, I was talking to somebody who lives on a narrowboat, and they have these very long but very narrow panels. Now, they're only about 150 to 200 watts per panel, but they would fit exactly into the fence panels that are outside. And I think I can get 2 that would fit nicely inside the structure of the fence panel. So we might look at building our own fence panels that have integrated solar panels. Now I know some of you are going to jump into the chat and say, but what about companies like Jackson? They do all of this already. I've looked into the Jackson panels. They are great. They look nice. But the problem is you have to use their posts because all the cabling runs through the posts. I have concrete posts for my fence panels. I don't want to start ripping out concrete posts. It would make too much of a mess and get me in trouble with the chief financial officer. So we're going to see what we can do with the existing panels, see if we can find a neater way to inlay the solar panels so then they don't just look like honking great black slabs hanging off the fences. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. As I say, the PowerStream system, we've run this for a number of years now. It is just very stable. It just works. Unfortunately, EcoFlow have discontinued this thing. Hence the reason I have a spare sitting here, just in case my inverter decides to give up, because I really like this system. It is rock solid. The Stream Ultra underneath, obviously, is a much neater system. You don't have separate devices with batteries and lots of cables. They are just modular units that plug together with a single cable. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've got a system like this, I'd love to know how yours has been performing. And if I'm lucky, I'll see you back here real soon for another video. Take care. Bye-bye.